Netflix, which owns Starz, owns Power. And 50 is on salary, and he's admitted that. He said he made 25 grand an episode, which is a joke to me. But it got him in the door to get bigger jobs. But he ask him. I'm not lying. Ask anybody that knows anything about television. And usually the production company is never black. So they'll put a black person to work for that company and put their name on it, but it's for a white production company. So that would be like Love and Hip Hop.
Okay, what about at the end of it where it says executive produced by 50 Cent? Is that just for show? Like what's that about?
That title doesn't mean pause. Executive producer can mean so many things. So sometimes people get what's called vanity credits. So they'll give you a credit, like if you put, it's just vanity. It doesn't mean I'm not saying it doesn't in 50's case, but it doesn't mean he puts up the money or he owns it.
Dame Dash just questioned 50 Cent's entire role in Power, and that's a bold statement. In his interview with Cam Capone News, Dame said 50 Cent never paid for Power, never owned it, and that his executive producer credit was basically fake. Now I get where Dame's coming from. He's a businessman who has always pushed for full ownership and controlling the money. That's his mentality, and you can't fault him for that. But here's the thing. Power doesn't become a global hit just because Starz owned the rights. That show had 50 Cent's fingerprints all over it. From the casting choices, the marketing, the music, even the tone that gave it that street authenticity. That's what made audiences lock in. You can't call that fake. That's influence. And influence in Hollywood is just as valuable as ownership in some cases. Dame also brought up that $25,000 an episode 50 Cent was making, calling it a joke. But when you really think about it, that $25,000 was just the surface. 50 flipped that deal into spinoffs, into BMF, into new contracts and opportunities that built a whole media empire. That's what smart leverage looks like. So yeah, Dame might have a point about ownership always being the ultimate goal, but 50 showed a different blueprint. Sometimes the game isn't about writing the biggest check. It's about building the kind of influence that keeps your name in every room. And that's exactly what he did with Power. And the way Dame worded it, this is going to spark a whole debate about what an executive producer really does and how much ownership truly matters. Now I'm about to play this clip for y'all, but before I do, I just need y'all to leave y'all thoughts on this down below in the comment section, and subscribe. Let's get into it.
You mentioned 50 Cent, and one of the things I didn't expect to hear was that 50 Cent doesn't own the TV show Power. Can you kind of break that down for everybody a little bit?
So let me tell you what actually happens in the real world. You might acquire someone's rights, let's say a production company. Or someone will sell their rights to a production company. So I don't know if it's the other production company or not. Then that production company sells the rights to the network. The network now owns it, and they pay you a salary to run it. They give you a budget, and whatever's left you can keep. That's why I was beefing with E1. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not, and it's a longer story than that. So Netflix, which owns Starz, owns Power. And 50 is on salary, and he's admitted that. He said he made 25 grand an episode, which is a joke to me. But it got him in the door to get bigger jobs. But he ask him. I'm not lying. Ask anybody that knows anything about television. And usually the production company is never black. So they'll put a black person to work for that company and put their name on it, but it's for a white production company. So that would be like Love and Hip Hop.
Okay, what about at the end of it where it says executive produced by 50 Cent? Is that just for show? Like what's that about?
That title doesn't mean dick. Pause. Executive producer can mean so many things. So it means you looked over it. It means you gave money. It means that you just want your name on there so that you could get props. When you win for a movie, the executive producer doesn't get the Oscar, the producer does, not the executive producer. For TV, it's a little different. But yeah, so the other lawsuit that I have, that a RICO, and I'll just say allegedly so they can't sue me. They were saying that I was supposed to, I didn't really direct the movie, and I got the footage of me directing the whole movie at my house with my camera, my DP, all of it. And they were saying they were giving me a vanity credit as a director. So sometimes people get what's called vanity credits. So they'll give you a credit, like if you put, it's just vanity. It doesn't mean shit. I'm not saying it doesn't in 50's case, but it doesn't mean he puts up the money or he owns it. That's not what that means at all. If you want to know who owns it, just go to ChatGPT and ask who owns the rights to Power. And then ask who owns the rights to Paid in Full. It's Disney. Miramax is bought by Disney. Disney owns the rights to Paid in Full. So if I were to do Paid in Full, I'd have to work for them. I'm not, and that's not, and I didn't feel, I'm not licensing Paid in Full, and I have my own Paid in Full. I was never telling AZ's story again. Paid in Full was AZ's story. So he might have got AZ's story, but AZ's story was the title was different, and it turned out to be Paid in Full. What was trademarked was what was made, which was Paid in Full. But I'm not telling AZ's story again. I'm telling Jay Black's story.
It says Starz owns the right to Power television show and its entire franchise, not Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
There you go. I'm not lying. Just check. Now see Paid in Full now.
Let's see.
Sometimes I feel like my name should be ChatGPT. Their name should be Chatty Patty. My name should be ChatGPT. Because I just
Paid in Full movie?
Yeah, go ahead. Who has the right?
Okay, it says 50 Cent owns the right to the movie Paid in Full.
Just read exactly what it says.
It says 50 Cent owns the right to the movie Paid in Full, having recently acquired them from Dame Dash, who produced the 2002 film. 50 Cent announced his acquisition of the rights in September 2025 and is developing the film into a television series with original star Cameron serving as a co-executive.
So that sounds like they're reading from ChatGPT a Cap article, because I don't own the rights to Paid in Full. I never did. And he didn't acquire them from me.
Right. So, yeah, sometimes ChatGPT
Nah, I don't. Now let me ask
information.
it, because I asked it recently. Nicolette, who owns the rights to Paid in Full? And I'll let you know, because your chat might be a Chatty Patty. That sounds like Chatty Patty chat.
It just says 50 Cent publicly announced that he owns.
It just says, it doesn't say he owns it. It says he publicly announced. And that's true. But that's not, I would look under the hood. I'm telling you, Disney owns it. So ask it, does Disney own the rights to Honor Up? To Paid in Full. They're just reporting on an announcement, but that's Cap. And that's the thing about algorithms. If you put something in an algorithm, people might say it so much that ChatGPT might verify it and it's wrong. But that other thing was very direct. You could go and look under the hood and see that. There was no bum ass announcement. The facts are the facts. Ask who owns BMF. I don't know that, but I'm curious. What does it say?
I say there's no credible evidence.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was like, I don't see how anyone could have bought Paid in Full. Where did he buy it from? If he didn't buy it from me or anyone else, no one knows who owns it. But 50 he definitely didn't buy it from me. But I'm saying is the research is easy to do. I wouldn't believe every headline that gets in the algorithm.
This is bigger than just 50 Cent and Dame Dash. What we're looking at here is two different philosophies on how to build power in business. Dame has always been the voice of ownership. He's the one telling you not to just show up for a check, but to make sure you actually control the assets, control the intellectual property, and hold the keys to the business. That's his mindset. He saw way too many artists and entrepreneurs build something only to get boxed out later. So when he looks at 50's deal with Power, of course he's going to judge it through that lens. But here's where I lean towards 50's approach. Influence is currency too. You don't always have to be the one signing the checks to change the culture. And with Power, 50 Cent brought that authenticity, the branding, and the vision that made it one of the biggest franchises in television. That kind of creative control is priceless because it doesn't just stop at one show. It snowballs into spin-offs, into new contracts, into film deals, and even into brand partnerships. That's exactly what we saw with Raising Kanan, BMF, and everything else that came after. Dame looked at that $25,000 an episode and laughed. But let's keep it 100. $25,000 across multiple seasons, plus back-end deals, plus all the leverage to launch new shows? That's a masterclass in flipping a contract into an empire. Sometimes it's not about what you get paid on paper. It's about the doors that deal opens up for you. And 50 Cent has been walking through every single door and building a new wing behind him. Now on the flip side, I do respect where Dame Dash is coming from. Ownership is still the end game. Nobody is wrong for wanting to truly own the property they helped build. That's how you create generational wealth and protect your legacy. But we also can't dismiss how valuable influence, brand recognition, and positioning are. In some cases, playing the influence game gives you more freedom than forcing ownership in the wrong deal. So to me, this debate isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about understanding that there's more than one path to power in business. Dame Dash built his career on fighting for ownership. 50 Cent built his career on turning influence into leverage. And the truth is, both strategies work when you know how to play them. The bigger picture is this. If you're an artist, an entrepreneur, or even somebody working in tech or media, you have to decide what matters more for your situation. Do you fight for full control, or do you maximize your influence and flip that into long-term opportunities? Because both can build you wealth if you move correctly. At the end of the day, Dame and 50 are two legends in their own right. They just play the game differently. And as a fan of hip-hop, television, and business, I think we can respect both while still having this conversation about what really matters in the long run. So let me ask y'all this. Do you think ownership is always the most important move, even if it means you miss out on big opportunities? Or do you think influence and leverage can sometimes be even more powerful than control? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.